Hundreds of sheep have been eerily walking around in a circle for 12 days straight in northern China's Inner Mongolia region.
International aid efforts are being ramped up to Tonga. We're 3 days on from that massive undersea volcanic eruption.
People all over the world have reported frightened animal behaviour in the lead-up to natural disasters for millennia. Could these signals be used to alert us of looming disasters? Even today, no one can predict when or where an earthquake will strike. Eyewitnesses, on the other hand, have consistently claimed that animals behave abnormally before an earthquake. And recently, something unexpected happened in Mongolia that has scientists baffled. What was this strange occurrence, and what does it indicate for the future? Stay with us to the end to discover more about this weird animal behaviour in Mongolia. In 2004, a tsunami triggered by a 9.1 magnitude underwater quake off the coast of Indonesia ravaged coastal communities across the Indian Ocean, killing at least 225,000 people in a dozen nations. The fact that many villages received no notice contributed to the high death toll. Local man-made early warning systems, such as tidal and earthquake sensors, did not issue a clear warning. Many sensors were out of commission due to maintenance concerns, and many coastal regions lacked tsunami warning sirens. Haphazard communication also failed to convey warnings, with many text messages either not reaching or going unread in threatening locations. Yet in the minutes and hours before surging walls of water up to 9 meters, 30 feet high, broke through the beaches, some animals appeared to detect oncoming danger and attempted to flee. Elephants fled to higher ground, flamingos abandoned low-lying nesting locations, and dogs refused to go outside, according to eyewitness testimonies. Locals in Thailand's seaside village of Bangkok recounted a herd of buffalo on the beach, suddenly pricking their ears, peering out to sea, and stampeding to the top of a nearby hill only minutes before the tsunami arrived. Survivors also reported seeing animals such as cows, goats, cats and birds deliberately moving inland shortly after the earthquake and before the tsunami came, says Irina Rafliana, a former member of the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Risk (UNISDR) advisory group, and now a researcher at the German Development Institute in Bonn. Many of those who survived ran along with these animals or immediately after. Rafliana tells similar accounts from her fieldwork in the aftermath of other disasters, such as the 2010 tsunami caused by an undersea quake off Sumatra, which killed over 500 people on the Mentawai Islands. However, certain animals, such as elephants, were claimed to have responded as if they had prior awareness of the incident. A newly re-released turtle made an abrupt U-turn just 2 days before Tonga's volcanic eruption in January. Many locations that are frequently hit by natural catastrophes lack early warning systems. The World Meteorological Organization discovered in 2017 that the governments of over 100 nations still lacked early warning systems for natural disasters to which they were vulnerable. However, reports of animal behaviour prior to natural disasters have motivated some academics to dedicate substantial scientific attention to the hypothesis that animals may have inbuilt mechanisms that signal them to coming natural disasters. It begs the question, could animals serve as natural early warning systems for humans? The earliest recorded reference to strange animal behaviour preceding a natural disaster dates back to 373 BC, when the Greek historian Thucydides observed rats, dogs, snakes and weasels fleeing the city of Helike in the days preceding a devastating earthquake. Other reports are scattered throughout history. Minutes before the 1805 Naples earthquake, oxen, lambs, dogs and geese allegedly began emitting alarm calls in unison, while horses were claimed to have fled in fear moments before the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. Even with improved technology, many kinds of approaching natural disasters might be impossible to detect. In the case of earthquakes, for example, seismic sensors jolt into jolted squiggles only when the earth-juddering shocks occur. Making reliable forecasts requires precursor signals, and scientists have yet to discover any that appear to occur consistently before large earthquakes. As a result, some scientists are becoming more inclined to accept unconventional warning systems such as animal behaviour. Now, according to a video that was posted on the Twitter account of the People's Daily, which is linked with the Chinese state, on November 16, the flock of sheep had been walking in an almost concentric circle for 12 days on a farm in the territory that is controlled by China. Not long after the original report, others came forward to say that sheep had been seen performing the same way, with claims coming in from the United Kingdom and Mongolia. Local farmers were perplexed as to why the sheep were behaving in this manner for extended periods of time. According to one farmer, it happens every now and then, but never lasts more than an hour. The original footage of the sheep was shot in northern China and quickly went viral after the sheep were observed travelling in a clockwise circle for 12 days, which had never been witnessed before. Locals in the region, as well as those who saw the video, were mystified as to why the sheep were acting this way. Interestingly, when the video was circulated on social media, additional farmers came forward to say that their livestock had been acting strangely and travelling in circles. One farmer in the United Kingdom said that their sheep began meandering in circles shortly after the video was posted. The farmer stated that he occasionally notices his livestock acting strangely, and that the circular motion is something that has only recently begun to occur, prompting him to wonder what would have caused this. The internet hurried to fill the void, with some exclaiming an X-Files episode was in the works, or that the sheep had entered a death spiral, while others claimed it was just sheep doing what sheep do and following the leader. A more reasonable explanation was that the sheep had listeriosis, a neurological disease caused by a bacterium typically found in cattle feed and soil, but more frequently in rotting vegetable debris and muck. The Listeria monocytogenes bacteria causes an asymmetrical infection in the brainstem, resulting in paralysis of one side of the animal's face and persistent circling, earning it the term circling disease. According to Andrew Fisher, a professor of cattle and sheep production medicine at the University of Melbourne, there are a lot of indicators that circling illness is not the cause of the behaviour exhibited in the video. They'd show a variety of circling and other neurological conditions, and they'd get quite sick. Some would die, Professor Fisher explained. The way it usually manifests are not in half the flock. It's sort of between 1 and 10% might be affected. Listeria-infected animals likewise do not travel in concentric circles, but instead loll in their own manner. Professor Fisher speculated that the animals may have acquired a behavioural response to being kept in a small, constrained space. He claims that in the past, zoo animals could demonstrate stereotypical pacing when kept in small enclosures with minimal stimulus. In that scenario, they have a very defined or consistent, unvarying pathway. However, he stated that while we can't be certain, there is a more likely explanation. One suspects there's more going on behind the video that we don't see, he remarked. Emma Doyle, a cattle expert and lecturer at the University of New England School of Environmental and Rural Science, expressed it more clearly. As soon as I looked at it, I thought, I've never seen sheep act like that, said Dr. Doyle. It seems a bit dodgy. It looks sort of set up where they've put something in the middle to stop them going in. Dr. Doyle believes it is exceedingly unlikely that sheep could construct such a flawless concentric shape without some kind of influence. The other, more serious issue is that numerous media outlets said the animals had been completing circles non-stop for 12 days. They're not going to go 12 days without food and water, stated Dr. Doyle. The suggestion is that the animals are leaving the circle to get some food and drink before returning. It's very mysterious and at first look, a little hoaxy to me, Dr. Doyle remarked. If it's real, then I stand to be corrected. With natural disasters, particularly earthquakes, being so difficult to predict, these findings pose the question: could humans genuinely predict earthquakes based on animal observations, and thereby warn people of their impending arrival? Despite the frigid weather, hundreds of snakes slithered out of their hibernation dens in the weeks leading up to the February 4, 1975 earthquake in the Chinese city of Haichong. The conduct of the reptiles, along with other instances, prompted authorities to evacuate the city hours before the catastrophic quake. For millennia, humans have reported odd animal behaviour in the days leading up to seismic events. Dogs barking ceaselessly, cows halting their milk, and toads leaping from ponds. A few researchers have attempted to establish a relationship. In a 2013 study, German scientists videotaped redwood ants that nested along a fault line and discovered that before a quake, they modified their typical schedule, becoming more active at night and less active during the day. According to a 2018 bulletin of the Seismological Society of America analysis of 180 previous investigations, most such attempts have relied heavily on anecdotal data and isolated observations. Researchers from Germany's Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior and the University of Konstanz, along with the worldwide team of collaborators, claim to have precisely measured increased activity in a group of farm animals prior to seismic activity. Though no clear relationship has been established, the scientists believe their findings are an important step forward in the hunt for one. There are old tales from Aristotle and Alexander von Humboldt who saw this behavior, says research co-author and managing director of the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior, Martin Wikelski. But only now can we do continuous biologging of the activities and the nervousness of the animals. The technical possibilities are finally there. According to the researchers, the farm animals appeared to predict tremors anywhere from 1 to 20 hours in advance, reacting sooner when they were closer to the source and later when they were further away. This observation, the authors argue, is consistent with the concept that animals detect a signal that spreads outward. Shifting tectonic plates push rocks along a fault line in the days before an earthquake, according to the theory. This movement causes the rocks to release minerals that expel ions into the air, which leads the animals to react to the novel sensation. So what do you believe is causing this weird behavior, and why do you think the sheep are acting this way? Is something big about to occur? Tell us in the comments section.